Hello, everybody. Ken Faulkner. Hey, I'm doing kind of a quick impromptu video. I normally film it on the weekends, but it's after work right now. Anyhow, I did a video a few back, and I had a lot of my old knives out, stuff that I collected over the years. Not necessarily my normal everyday sort of thing that and more of these are ones that I bought years ago. And some people, had some interest in it, and they kind of mentioned that I might want to show some more of these kind of things. It's probably not for everybody, but I did want to mix it in because I do love these knives still. I mean, and really what I'm focusing on today is daggers that I bought when I was younger, and some that I bought more recently as well. So let's get into it. Most of this is starting with ones that I have had since I was in my teens, pretty young. I was into martial arts movies, Dungeons and Dragons, played many nights with friends, action movies, all the 007s and all that kind of thing. And daggers just kind of went along with that. And it's just something that I've always kind of was drawn to, just the look of it. And I don't know. Sometimes you can't explain exactly why you like what you like. This is one that I bought, one of the earliest one. I think it's the earliest one I have. And out here in California, Southern California, there's a place called Knott's Berry Farm. And it's kind of got an old west kind of section to it, and a lot of roller coasters, things like that. But when I was a kid, it was very popular. And one of my favorite things there was a knife and gun shop. It's funny to see that, nowadays you wouldn't really normally see that kind of thing. But they still, I think it's still there. Last time I was there, it was still around. And this knife I bought from an amusement park and brought it home. And yeah, it's hung in there all these years. It must be 40 years ago, maybe 45 years ago that I bought this thing. And I just kind of hung on to it, and just always did like it. It's got this kind of a plasticky, almost like a plastic tube wrap sort of thing. There's nothing super special about it. I mean, this is back in the day when everything was made out of 440 stainless, that kind of thing. This doesn't really have anything marked on it. I don't know who made it or anything. And there's a few of the ones like that that I'm going to show tonight. So this is the first one. Got a cool little sheath, and that's number one. And number two is right here. Now this one's a little bit crazy. Okay, so not necessarily the most practical, but it's cool. It's got like this wooden handle here, and this one, I'm going to take it out and I'll show you out of the sheath. And if I get this little piece off of here, it says, you can read it, surgical steel. That was popular. Made in Japan, but surgical steel. That was something that was really big back in the day when I was getting these knives. So I think that's like a stainless, kind of like a 440. This is obviously not brand new. But if you can read it, if you can't read it, I'll tell you what it says. It says the bat knife. So it's kind of a novelty thing, and you can see the bat shape on the guard, and there's a little bat here on the back, and the wood handles with that multicolored sort of wood. But it's cool. One thing I would say about this one is that the cutout on this metal here, very sharp, very sharp. So it's not really all that practical. And you can see, if I turn it this way, you can see it's two layers kind of pinched together. Then there's a pin through it. So the construction is not exactly the most robust. But anyway, it was a cool little thing for teenagers, maybe young 20s. That loved these kind of weapons, and always have kind of like some novelty type knives. All right, moving on. Westerns, another thing that I used to watch. You know, talking about Outlaw Josie Wales or High Plains Drifter, all those kind of movies. And I don't remember exactly which one it was, but there was one where they were talking about this knife, and it's called the Tennessee Toothpick. And I couldn't tell you where I bought this one. I really don't know where. Now, all these things were things that I actually bought in a store because they didn't have Amazon back then. And so I was out finding stores. I mean, they're not every street corner you couldn't find a knife store, but I would seek them out. I would go and find them. Sometimes they'd be in malls. There was a mall close by here that that had a knife shop in it, and I used to go to it. But I couldn't tell you really where I got this. It's hard to read, but here I can see it, Arkansas Toothpick. So it's this big, long, thin blade, very thin. You can actually kind of take it and flex it. Now, I don't think this is an authentic one, but it definitely has a spring to it, and it never has bent and not gone back to shape, so that's pretty good. But that was the draw for me, was this big, long knife called a toothpick. And you can see that the point on it isn't quite as sharp as a lot of daggers are. It's kind of rounded. You can see that. It's kind of rounded. Now, I don't know if that's a thing. I'm not an expert at Tennessee toothpicks or any kind of... I guess there's some other toothpicks as well. But anyway, I just, you know, it's another one of those ones that I saw in a movie and I thought it was cool, and I found a place where I could buy it. It's got that coffin-shaped handle. You know, just like the Old West, they always had those coffins, right? From all the shootouts, and they'd have to do something with all those bodies. Anyhow, you know, it was all good fun back then when I was a kid, growing up. All those kind of, you know, things that boys like to do back then. I'll put that to the side. Here's another one. Now, this one, I remember there was a secondhand store that I found this in. And this is obviously, if you know anything about it, is a bayonet. And more recently, I was kind of watching somebody do a video on bayonets. See, it's kind of tarnished. But I looked this up and I found it like on eBay. I think it's somewhere in it's a bayonet from somewhere like in like a Nordic, like Scandinavian country or something like that. Maybe someone out there will recognize it. And I could always find it online, but I'm just doing this video at the end of the workday, and I didn't feel like doing a lot of research on it. And my memory's not so good. But look at that guy. Got a cool filler down the middle of it. It's a metal sheath. You see that? It's a metal sheath, and it's got this leather strap on here, so it can be strapped onto a belt. And obviously, as a bayonet, it can be put on the end of a rifle. The way I found information on it was this EJAB that's stamped here on the handle, and this also has a 092 number on it. Anyway, I always thought it was really cool. I mean, bayonet, you know, that's a fun concept. I like the sheath. It's kind of different. I think it's, yeah. So since it's a bayonet, it's not actually sharp on this one side. So these other ones that I've shown so far were double edged, but this one is dull on the one side, but it still has that dagger shape. And so just because it's not a double-edged knife, I still like that shape of knife. Here is another one that's two-sided and more recent purchase. And I actually had this out on the video I was doing where I had all my knives sitting out on the table. And when I was doing that, I was talking about Scabs Raffle coming up. So if you like fixed blade knives. I think there's some folders in there as well, but if you like that kind of thing, if you like hard use testing type videos, Choir Boys Outdoors, and they got a whole bunch of knives that they're getting donated, and the reason for it is that they need to raise some money. Another brother in the community is Donnie B All Day, and he's got some serious health problems, and he's kind of talked about it on some of his videos. So if you do watch his channel, you know what I'm talking about. Now this one's got 1060 high carbon steel. And like I said, this is a more recent knife purchase. It's Honshu. And these guys make a lot of swords and like historical type weapons, recreated weapons from history with a modern flair. The handle's got this rubber grip, but it's such a good grip. It's got this huge pommel on it. It gives that counterbalance you need, so it's got a good weight to it. It's not a bad knife, and the price is not so bad. And the reason why I bought this is I really want to get a two-handed sword made by Honshu. And it's just been a little bit high price. I pay a lot more for some of my EDCs that I carry around, but just for something that I'm just going to have at home, I'm not going to really do much with it. Might swing it around, go out in the backyard, and maybe I'll even get around to cutting on some you know, materials like some bottles or something like you see people do. But anyway, the two-handed, so I think it's a two-handed sword. This is a partner with that, and it's a dagger, but it's a very large dagger, as daggers go. But it's more of a medieval size, you know. This is like, so it's a good companion with that. You'd have this one in your left hand, and you'd have that double-handed, or it's like a bastard sword in the other hand. Anyway, I thought it was cool. It was in the price range that I could afford, and it kept me from buying that other sword so far. But eventually I will be getting that other sword. So maybe you'll see that on the channel sometime in the future. Now, these are all fixed blades, obviously. But as I started to buy folders, and that is the most common thing that I purchased more recently. Oh, I do have one other. I'll save this one for the end. Anyway, folders. I like folders. I like to be able to carry them with me. And it's definitely something that doesn't catch as much flack from people. You don't want to be walking around in the street with this thing on your belt, because you know, people are just going to think you're crazy, which is probably true if they knew how much I spent on knives, and how much I think about knives, and how much I talk about knives. But so I have folders that have a dagger shape. This is a Kershaw, and I tell you, I can't remember the name of it. You may recognize it. You got to find the right side. There you go. This is a Kershaw. This one was actually designed by Hinderer. It may even say on here what it is. Hinderer design, but I can't see the name on there. And it's 8CR 13 MOV. So it's not the highest grade steel. It is, like a lot of Kershaws, it is spring assisted. And so if you get the right side and push down on it, it'll pop out real fast. And it is, you know, it's like a false edge on the other side, so this edge is not sharp, which is good when you're closing a folder. You don't want to worry about that. If this was sharp, you'd have to be very careful and put your finger on this flat portion. But anyway, it's still that dagger shape, and it's got that whole very symmetrical dagger handle. And I think that may be something that I always liked about daggers, that symmetrical kind of look about them. The blade's a little bit off on one side as far as the symmetry, but it's kind of a cool look. So there's that Kershaw folder. Another one, this is a good one. This is by a company called Dagger. It's actually a Russian company. And Maybe when I put this one out, I'll try to put the names of the knives on some text on the video. So hopefully I'll get that on there. But it says, you can see it says Dagger, and it's made in Russia. I bought this from Blade HQ, and look at that. Look at that clip. You see that? Am I off camera? Trying to see what I'm doing. Okay, there you go. And if you look real closely, you can see the blue eye staring at you back behind those holes. Those are the screws for the pocket clip. So that's kind of a cool, crazy looking thing. Dagger. So that's kind of their pocket clip. It's kind of almost like a Chavez style. Obviously different. This is more of a stamped steel, as the Chavez is more like a milled type clip. But it still does have that dagger shape. It's got the false edge, no edge on this side, but the other side is sharp. And yeah, so there's another folder dagger. Here's another one, Beyond EDC, that I got. I picked this up at Blade Show one year, and it was right at the end. I thought I was done buying stuff, and then I went and I went by the table, started talking to David from Beyond EDC. Not quite the full symmetrical shape, but you can see very much has that dagger kind of quality to that knife. It's an interesting little ring back here. It's not a full ring that you can put your finger through, obviously, because it's got that G10, the natural G10, and it's kind of pointing right through that circle. But anyway, still a cool knife, and it was a good price, and it was the end of the show, and I just decided I still had a little bit of money. I wasn't completely broke, so went ahead and got this one. And then next, this is one from OffGrid. And this is probably familiar to everybody. I'm blanking on the name, but I will definitely put this on the text on the video. And anyway, OffGrid, kind of overbuilt knives, big chunky knives. They really fly out almost like it's assisted, but it's not. Dagger shape, but not double-edged. Very cool knife. Stinger. This is the Stinger XL. I did remember it. Just took a little while. So another one of those cool knives. I like big knives. You know that. And I like daggers. So when I saw this, I was a big fan of OffGrid. I still am. And definitely knew I needed to get a hold of this knife, and I finally got a hold of it. I can't remember where I bought this one. This may have been one I bought. KC Blade Drip had a channel. Actually, I think there's another one that I bought from him. This is maybe one, I don't know. I probably got it off Blade HQ or something like that. Anyhow, cool knife. Definitely recommend it. I mean, this is a good knife, regardless of being a dagger or not a dagger. OffGrid knives are really cool and good prices. Made in China. I don't think that any of these, I don't know that any of these are not made in China. I really couldn't say. Okay, so this one is really not a dagger, what I'm about to show, but it is a Jack Wolf knife, and it is the one that I really wanted from the very first time that I saw any of his knives. I really wanted this knife, and I've shown it before. I did a video, but you'll see when the blade opens up, it's symmetrical. I mean, it's obviously got an edge on one side because it's got the nail nick, and it has a hollow grind that comes down to that thin edge. But the thing is that it's shaped like a dagger. So I think that's what really caught my eye, made it be the one that I really wanted. You see this, this is also coffin shape handle. This one is the it's the one with the Dracula one. Man, you know, when I work all day and I get home, my brain just kind of shuts off. Not the Venom, Vampire. Should have known Dracula. It's the Vampire Jack. Sorry about that, guys. You know, you get older and you work hard and you get home and it's just hard to make the brain work. So anyway, Vampire Jack, not a dagger, but looks a lot like a dagger. And then one last one that is even not quite a knife, but it looks like a dagger. It's got this cool sheath. This purple is called a purple haze sheath. This was made by M3 Tactical. And it looks like a dagger, but it's just got a ring out here. It doesn't have like a full handle, but you can grab a hold of this. You can slip this in your pocket and grab a hold and pull it out, and it is actually what they call a spike. Now, it is kind of sharp on the end, but it's not like I could put my finger on it without drawing blood or anything like that. A little self-defense tool, but the edges up here, even though they do taper down, are not sharp, but it is just cool looking. I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but it's got these kind of like runes up and down here, and then the holes here. It's a very cool looking little knife. Not knife, sorry. Spike. So cool. So I think I bought this one also because it reminded me of a dagger. So part of the reason why I wanted to do this video, I actually have another video that I've already filmed and I was going to put out this week, but we talked about the raffle, and the raffle is coming up still. However, it looks like things are getting postponed a little bit. I thought that it was going to be coming up this Sunday when they were going to be drawing it, but it appears that they still have knives coming in. They're still working on getting more stuff in, even though they have like 2 full-size real katanas, work tough gear. If you're familiar with fixed blades, they got a couple work tough gears. They got a lot of cool fixed blade knives. There's a couple of folders, but I think the majority of the stuff is going to be, because of the fact that Scab and Donnie B All Day and JS Bladecraft, they all do swords or fixed blades more often than the folders. And the people that watch the channel that really love them a lot and want to support them came through with donations, but they're still waiting for some of those to come in. So the latest that I heard as of today is that there's going to be a video on Thursday the 13th, I believe. So that'd be a week from tomorrow, if I manage to get this one out tonight. And they're going to show all the knives. So you're going to see the knives. They're going to talk about how they're going to be given away, because I believe they're going to be given away in groups, not going to give everything to one person, and they're not going to also raffle off each individual knife. So I think they're probably going to have maybe 24 different knives in this thing, and they're going to be doing some packages, and they're going to try to make it so they're about the even amount of value for each one. And there's a few people working together with Scab trying to get that together. So I don't know the actual date right now of when the drawing is going to be. If you want to go over to Choir Boys Outdoors, look for anything that talks about the raffle. Definitely, if you are interested, go and look at the one on Thursday, a week from Thursday, the 13th. And they probably should have it nailed down by that time. So I will try to keep you updated on my videos, not talk about it so much, not have to show so much, but I might mention it at the beginning or end of a video just to kind of let you know what's going on. $5 still per raffle ticket. If you do $10, it's going to be 2, 15 is 3, and so forth and so on. They're doing random pickers, so it's going to be done that way. And so however it is, you will have a certain number of entries in that random picker. So, wow, this is a long video, guys. Sorry about that. That's basically what I wanted to show you. I wanted to do a short one, but I got a lot of knives here, and I hope you liked it. I'm sure it's not for everybody, but I'm sure there's some people out there that really kind of like this stuff. So, I'm going to be doing more folders, but most of the time, but every once in a while, I might throw in something like this. You guys have a great rest of your week. And I will see you on the next one. Bye.